The first and foremost thing that I think is important for women's empowerment is that they realize that their voice is as valued, as appreciated, and can be as unchallengeable as a man's. And just recently I was at a V-Day event, and that's all about women speaking up against violence against women and abuse and the rights for women. And there was just so many cases where women weren't speaking up, and that's one of the things that women have to do to feel empowered.
I think the biggest way for women to be empowered is for women to have opportunities in their life, and for young girls to grow up with the opportunity to pursue the career that they want to pursue, and to have the opportunity to go to school. Millions of children in Indonesia, especially, and Africa and other parts of the developing world, millions of young girls don't have the opportunity to even finish their education. And if we can't give them that basic opportunity, how can we expect them to contribute to their society in any beneficial way?
I think women can be empowered by making them know that they have power. With less women rights, the women there don't know that they have power. You know, they suppress themselves down. I think every woman should know the power that they actually have.
I think that women can be empowered in many different ways. They can empower themselves by challenging themselves and never letting others get them down. They can be empowered by their governments and their communities by being given leadership roles and the chance to do something. They can be empowered by their loved ones by being trusted and believed in.
I think women can be empowered by giving them the same opportunities as men.
Women can go to school, they can get knowledge from there, they can, if they have the option, and they can even learn things at home, from their mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, any sibling, any part of your family. They can teach you things that they've learned through experience.
In somewhere like Indonesia, if young girls in remote villages or in the countryside don't have access to education and don't have access to going to school, and instead the sons of the family are allowed to go to school, how can we expect there to be prominent female figures in Indonesian society? How can we expect there to be women politicians? How can we expect there to be women doctors? How can we expect there to be police women if we're not giving them the opportunity to finish school and their education?
There's a statistic that I heard that 1 out of 3 women will be sexually or physically violated in her life. And so if that's a statistic from all the population of women, that's 1 billion women in the world. But of those 1 billion women, all the people that violate them, only very, very few are ever persecuted. So that's because one of the main reasons that happens is because women don't speak up.
By doing anything, by educating actually both women and men, you're giving our future generation a better view on how to treat women and how to treat men, actually. Because if you teach a young man to not abuse his power and take advantage of a woman, you're reducing the risk of rape. And if you're teaching a man to treat his female colleague the way he would treat a male colleague, it's basically just being respectful, and that in a way is just empowering women. It's by treating women the same way as you would treat a man.
I think that in a world that's fraught with poverty and hunger and discrimination and war and disease, that education is a silver bullet. And how is a society going to develop if we're putting 50% of our population in isolation and we're not giving them a voice? If a woman is educated, she can help in the economy, she can help work, she can help raise her family. If a woman is educated, she has more self-worth, and she can stand up to gender discrimination, and she can help the community develop. A community is a cohesive whole, and without women, that isn't a whole, and so it cannot develop in a way that's going to solve problems for everyone in society.
Everybody should be able to have should have the option to be at the same level of education. I feel like it's everybody's right to have the option to be able to expand your knowledge.
if young girls don't have women to look up to in their life, say if a young girl wants to grow up to be a prime minister and she doesn't see any women, any female faces in the world of politics, how can that motivate her to continue pursuing the career she wants? If you can't see that your dream's possible, how can you expect a child to pursue it?
It's important, A, because that's over half the population. B, women tend to make choices that are a little less based off of their egos. I don't want to generalize here, but for example, politicians who are men will oftentimes maybe quickly go to war, whereas a woman might consider other aspects of it. I know that's generalizing. I don't want to say that they're always the nurturing type, because I'm sure that there are women who aren't and there are men who are also very nurturing, but I think as decision makers and policy makers, they bring a different perspective to the world.
Because it's like a ripple effect. So you're not only educating one little girl, you're educating her to become a woman, and then she's educating her family, and then it goes on and on and on through generations.
Young girls will have prominent female figures to look up to as they grow older, but also on a different level just to have, equal rights between men and women. Women should be in politics, women should be in the medical world, women should be in the education world, women should be teachers, women should be students, women should be professors. And the way that'll contribute to our society is that women have different things to contribute than men do, and if they aren't given the environment to contribute those things, society won't be able to benefit from them.
Well, the more people that are educated, the more chance we have of evolving in a way, the more chance we have of creating new things that would help the world, creating having more intellectual people that can save the world, even because quite a lot of bad things are happening. If people are given the chance, then they can make a difference.
And by educating women, you ready them to enter the workforce, to take on roles as leaders, to educating them. It's almost like the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, the main part of that village is the woman's presence, and it's important to educate women because we all improve.